let me just think of this. What I was saying is the first three are the ones that prepare your heart to receive. If you receive a big reward, a big return on a seed giving, and you have not surrendered through obedience, generosity, and compassion, your heart will latch onto that. So you cannot receive a big return until your heart is fully surrendered. And this is an opportunity. Every return you have on a seed is an opportunity for you to attach your faith to it, to your trust of it, for you to worship it. So it's a risk the Lord plays with us, trying to get us His prosperity, His blessing. He wants us to be able to live and move with blessing. But every time we need to be honest about, is my heart attached to it? Is my heart attached to it? You just bought that brand new truck. Don't let your heart attach to it. For real. You just acquired something or something happened. Don't attach to it. Hold it loosely. Be willing to give it away. You did fine before you had it, and you'll do fine without it. Doesn't matter. None of those things matter. If you're willing to hold things loosely with your hands open like this, you're open to receive more. If all you do is this, grabbing on, you can't get any more. Your hands are closed, grasping the things you have. So just stay open, which means everything's up for grabs. You're willing to just live free. The reason that is so important is because with your heart, with your hands like this, your heart has a posture of trust. You know what the biggest currency in the kingdom is? Trust. God uses money to grow your trust. And I'm using the word trust intentionally. It's not just faith. We can tend to think, and faith can just be this overarching unknown. What all does it mean? I really mean, where do you trust? If I look at promises that God has on seed, 2 Corinthians 9:10 says, "Now may he who supplies seed to the sower and bread for food supply and multiply the seed you have sown and increase the fruits of your righteousness." So he has promised us to multiply true seed that's sown in faith, and some 30, some 60, some 100-fold. Like, there are big returns on real seeds in the kingdom. God is a farmer. He knows how to grow some stuff, and he knows where to tell you to plant. If you're willing to do what he says, he's not going to plant. He's not going to have you plant in a rock patch. He's going to have you plant in good soil, because he wants a harvest. He wants to grow a harvest, not just for you, but for him. The thing that I've learned about seed, and this is probably one of the, it was like, when it finally clicked, I went, oh, this is so easy. I don't know how I missed this. But seed, when you just take I don't have any money on me here, but if I'd have a $1 bill or a $100 bill, or I'd have something and I'd say, this is seed, it's just money. So there's nothing designated to it. It's not something specific. It will buy something specific, but it isn't something specific. Seed is whatever God designates it to be. So when there's something that you, if you're looking at the money that you want to give, and you say, Lord, all right, here's my tithe. There's my 10%. Okay. Now, what do I do with the rest of the money I have? And he says, take this amount and set it aside as seed. It's not part of the tithe. Tithe is its own thing. It's 10%. And typically what I do is I give where the Lord says. It's almost always, it's very consistently where I'm being fed, where I'm acquiring, like wherever I'm fed, I give back to that. And a lot of that comes from Abraham tithing to Melchizedek, that sort of give back to the one that has given to you. And that being the church you're going to, the church that you're actively a part of. If you are blessed by a ministry, you're listening to their messages online, give them something. Like there's a portion of my tithe. Like I don't give all my tithe in one place. Depending, like I say, Lord, what is this? And he says, remember that message you heard? And I'm like, I don't even know what kind of a ministry they are. He's like, give it to them. Yeah, I was really blessed by that. Should I check them out? I just listen to what he says. Okay, so tithe is its own thing. When he says, take a portion of this, and it is now designated seed, you need a place to put it. So there's a whole storehouse principle. Malachi, bring all the tithes into the storehouse so we can say, well, the Bible or the church is the storehouse. Bring the tithe in there. I'm not going to get into the specifics of why I feel this way. It's just the Lord told me to do this. So he said, go to the bank and open 2 more accounts. I have a personal checking and a personal savings account that my wife and I, we buy groceries out of that. We save in there for vacation or whatever we're saving for. Those are after we've done our giving, that's where we live. The thing that freed me up was to take the moment money comes into my account, I take 10% and put it right into a checking account that is called my tithe checking. I even named it in my app. So that's my tithe. I can give out of that. I have a separate debit card and a separate checking, checkbook I can give from. That's my tithe. And then I have a savings account that is called my seed storehouse. If I want to give, if the Lord says, hey, give some seed, this is a good place to sow some seed, I just take a chunk of that, dip in there, put it over into my checking account and give it. Does that make sense? The storehouse is a silo. It's where you can keep putting seed in there. Now, when you put seed in, you don't always know what kind of seed it is. And we don't have to, like if you think of actual seeds, if it's corn or if it's wheat or if it's whatever, you'd have to keep everything separate or they'd all get mixed up. Just putting seed into your storehouse. When you take it out, let him designate it for you. Now this happened to me. I was asking the Lord for a truck. And I'm like, I really want a truck. I'd wanted a truck for a long time and I felt like I just can't afford it. It's not practical. Truck prices have gone way up and stuff. And I thought of the apple. Actually, a minister spoke on the apple, like held it up. And he said, an apple produces after its own kind. The seed is in the apple. And the Lord said, you want a truck? Pay off someone's truck. Oh, that's easy. Okay. Now, I don't know what that means, though, money-wise. Okay, what's that mean? Oh, you know what? I'll ask the Lord. Okay. You sound like you've got a good idea. Tell me whose truck to pay off. Bring it to me. And I asked him, bring me the situation you're talking about. The next day, having a conversation with a young couple, that they had one vehicle. They were not going to buy another vehicle until they had the man's truck paid off. Because they're like, we don't want to have so many payments. They just gotten married and they're like, we're so excited. We're 2 payments away from paying off his truck. And they were just telling us this is just an exciting thing for them. We're 2 payments away from paying off his truck. And then we're going to buy a car for her. And I went, oh, yes, sweet. You wouldn't mind if I pay that off, would you? Oh, I'm so excited. This is amazing. This is, I'm going to sow seed here. How much is it? Like, I don't know how much are their payments. I said, I want to pay it. Well, it was, whatever, 400 something a payment. So I had to take $800, which I wasn't planning to spend, not out of tithe, but out of my other money, and go, let me pay that for you. I paid it off. Within a month, or I don't know the exact timing, I was able to buy a truck. in some supernatural ways. For sake of time, I won't share the story, but I sowed to a truck and I am driving a truck because I listened to what the Lord said. My faith went with it. I had complete joy with this. My heart was in it, and I sowed in faith, and it produced a thing in the natural. Because I'm already surrendered through obedience with tithe, I'm giving first fruits with generosity, I'm giving alms with compassion. When the Lord shows me, He showed me there's faith. Now I'm ready to sow. That's something that it's taken me some time to get to where it's like it initially seemed so complicated because I'm like, why is it not just easy? I just, tell me what to do and I'll just do it and it works. Again, back to the relationship. I am growing in my relationship with Him, with the Lord. This started out with, I don't know how long ago, 10 years ago. The Lord began to teach me these things. And so I had done a job I was actually at Charis Bible College. And while I was there, the Lord told me, I just did side jobs. Like I tried to just listen. Lord, what are you showing me? Okay. Somebody needs some help. I'd go help them. I had done construction. So I had a lot of experience that I could use. Somebody needs help with something. So I helped a guy do a job, a gutter job, hanging gutter, doing stuff. And I'm like, this is, I got the tools and stuff. And at the end of the day, he hands me $180. So if it took us 10 hours, he paid me $18 an hour or whatever. I don't remember the number, but I got $180 cash. Sweet. So what do I do with it? So I sat before the Lord and it was all $20 bills, and I fanned it out like this. I said, okay, Lord, teach me. What do I do with this? Just like that. And it was so easy. He said, 20 of it is tithe. Boom. So just 10% and round it up. Okay, fine. $20 is tithe. Okay? $60 is seed. Wow. Okay. I don't have any other money. When I was out there, I told the Lord, I'm not bailing you out. I am not worried. Jesus went 40 days without food. I'm not worried. I will not die. I was so like, I am squeezing the drops out of this thing. I am not I don't care how little I have. I want to learn here. I was renting a room from an older couple, and I walked from there to the college just to see how long it'd take me in case I don't have money for fuel. I want to know, how long does it take me to walk it? I asked him, can I borrow your bike if I need to? Sure, no problem. So I was like, and if I would have to go weeks without food, I mean, really, am I going to die? Come on. It's not as complicated and as, there's a cliff you're going to fall off. It's not that bad. Test it. Let him show you. Anyway, so this money was to last me into perpetuity. I didn't know when I was going to get more money, and I didn't have more. I didn't have other money. So $60 is seed. I folded it up, put it in my wallet. $100 of it is to spend on me. He said, now spend that on yourself. Okay. Yes, sir. Perfect. This is easy. Went to the college the next day, and I'm like, does the seed go here? And the Lord said, yes, that guy right there. He needed help paying his tuition. And it was not it wasn't a need that he was presenting. It was just, I'm like, the Lord told me to sow some seed into you. He's like, that's just what I need, whatever. And so anyway, I sowed the seed, gave the tithe, and had $100. And then some needs started coming to me. Somebody else needed, whatever. These are college students. They don't have money. A lot of them, they're learning the same things. And so I was like, here, I'll help you out. And I gave away most of that $100. I had like $25 left or something. And I got to the end of where I needed food. Like I was like, okay, there's nothing. I don't have any food left. So it's not like I can just go reach in the back corner and get a loaf of bread that no, there's nothing there. So I said, okay, Lord, I need some food. And he goes, I gave you $100 for food. What did you do with it? I said, well, so I gave something to this guy and that and whatever. And then I spent the last 27 or whatever it was on the eggs and stuff I bought, and I already ate those. And so he said, you sowed your bread and it won't grow. $100 was bread, not seed. I put the bread in the ground. It's not a good idea. When he tells you what's bread, don't give it away. It's for you. It's for you to eat, to live on. Now, the same thing applies. The reverse applies. If he designates it seed, don't grind up your seed and make bread with it. Sow it. You sow seed. You put one seed in the ground, it'll grow 100 loaves of bread. So just do what he says with it. Anyway, so he rebuked me quite soundly, and I was like, oh, I was literally thinking, okay, so I'm going to go hungry until that amount of food would have expired, I guess. Oh, man. Oh, well. So I went to the college the next morning, and I was standing there up in the worship time. The Monday and Wednesday mornings was worship time, and so I was in the presence of the Lord. I was full of joy. I'm like, I don't care. That I'll learn that now. All right, I'll do what you say. And a guy walks up to me right before it started, and he pulls something out of his pocket. It's this little folded up envelope. Couldn't tell what's in it. And he said, hey, God told me to give this to you. And I went like, okay. And I went to take it, and he held on to it. He goes, but it comes with a message. Okay. He said, God told me, spend all of this on yourself. Do not give any of it away. And I was like, okay, how do you know this? And he goes, don't even tithe on it. And I was like, okay, all right. Didn't know what was in it. Stuck it in my pocket. And I was like, all right, okay, time for worship. Worshiping, and as I'm singing, I'm like, okay, Lord, listen. Now, what's $10? Like, I want to tithe on this. It'll make me feel better. Like, I like tithing. I just got something I didn't do anything to deserve or anything. I want to tithe on this. I think I'm going to tithe on this. Afterward, same guy comes up to me, and he is in my face. Like, I mean, spitting on my nose. He's like, hey, and he's yelling at me. He says, God told me that during worship you were arguing with him. And I was like, oh, yeah, what did he say? He said, you said you're going to tithe on that. And then he said this, if you're not faithful with this, he cannot give you any more. And he said, if you're faithful with this gift, the next one will have zeros on the end of it. And he walked away. Whew. That was I pulled that out, and it was a $100 bill. See, the Lord took my mistake of giving away, sowing my bread, and it is a cornerstone in my heart. He has taken, that's my $100 story, and it applies. It doesn't matter if it's 100 or 100 million. It's the same principle. Do what he says with it. So I went and spent it on myself. I even bought chips. They have no nutritional value, but sure make me smile. I spent it on myself. I didn't give a penny to someone else because that's what it was for. He had designated it for me. So he restored it to me. Even though I squandered it, he gave it back and he said, now do the right thing now. He restored it.